I'm going to let you in on something that changed my entire relationship with food. There are 5 tomato varieties that will ruin store-bought tomatoes for you forever, in the best possible way. And if you start these seeds right now, you're going to have the most incredible harvest of your life this summer. We're counting down from number 5 to number 1, and I'm saving the absolute best for last. Number 1 is genuinely life-changing. People who grow it literally say they can't eat anything else. So let's talk about why you need to start these 5 varieties immediately and how to do it even if you've never grown a tomato from seed before. Here, what they don't tell you about those perfect-looking tomatoes at the supermarket. They're picked green, completely green. Hard as rocks. Then they're gassed with ethylene to turn them red during shipping. The color changes, but the flavor, it never develops. Real tomato flavor only happens when the fruit ripens on the vine. When it's getting sugars and acids and all those complex compounds directly from the plant, with the sun warming it right up until the moment you pick it. Commercial tomatoes are also bred for exactly 2 things: shelf life and the ability to survive being thrown into a truck, not flavor, never flavor. When you grow your own tomatoes and let them ripen naturally, you're tasting what a tomato is actually supposed to be. The difference is so dramatic that most people tell me it feels like eating a completely different fruit. So let's get you set up to grow the absolute best of the best. Starting tomato seeds indoors right now is actually perfect timing for most of us. You'll need seed starting trays or small pots, some seed starting mix, and a warm spot. Tomatoes love warmth for germination, around 70 to 80 degrees. Once they sprout, they need plenty of light. A sunny south-facing window works, or you can use a simple grow light. You'll transplant them outside after your last frost date, which for most people is late April or May. Starting now gives them the perfect head start. And honestly, if you can water a plant, you can start tomatoes from seed. I promise you, it's easier than you think. Now let's count down these 5 incredible varieties. Coming in at number 5, we have San Marzano. Now, if you've ever had real Italian tomato sauce, you already know this name. San Marzano is the gold standard paste tomato. Long, rectangular fruits with thick, meaty walls and very few seeds. The flavor is intensely sweet and rich with low acidity. It's the complete opposite of that tinny, sharp taste you get from canned tomatoes at the store. When you slice one open, there's barely any juice or gel, just thick, dense flesh that cooks down into the most luxurious sauce you've ever made. These are what actual pizzerias in Naples are legally required to use for authentic margherita pizza. That's how legendary they are. San Marzano plants are indeterminate, which means they keep growing and producing all season long. You'll get your first tomatoes in about 80 days after transplanting. To start them now, plant seeds about a 1/4 inch deep in your seed starting mix. Keep them warm and moist and you'll see sprouts in about a week. These plants do get tall, around 6 feet or more, so they'll need staking or cages once they're in the garden. They're heavy producers. One plant can give you 20 to 30 pounds of tomatoes over the season. Use San Marzanos for sauce, obviously, but also for roasting, canning, and making the best bruschetta of your life. Here's a fun fact: the real San Marzano tomatoes from Italy have protected status like champagne, but you can grow the exact same genetics in your own backyard. Gardeners rave about how one batch of homemade San Marzano sauce converts them forever. You'll never buy jarred sauce again. Number 4 is black cherry, and this is where things get really interesting. Black cherry is a cherry tomato, but forget everything you think you know about cherry tomatoes. These are deep purple-brown, almost black when they're fully ripe, about an inch in diameter, perfectly round. The flavor is rich, complex, and incredibly sweet with a smoky undertone. It's almost wine-like. Every single bite explodes with juice, but it's concentrated flavor, not watery like store-bought cherry tomatoes. People describe these as tomato candy. I've watched people who claim they don't like tomatoes pop these like grapes. Black cherry is also indeterminate and incredibly vigorous. These plants want to grow and they'll reward you for it. You're looking at about 65 days to maturity, which makes them one of the earlier producers on this list. One plant will give you hundreds, literally hundreds, of these little gems throughout the summer. To start them from seed now, use the same method as San Marzano, quarter-inch deep, warm, moist conditions. These plants can get quite large, often 6 to 8 feet tall, so give them sturdy support. The best part, black cherry tomatoes have excellent disease resistance. They're tough, reliable, and perfect for beginners. Use them fresh in salads as a snack straight off the vine or roasted whole with olive oil and garlic. They also make stunning garnishes because of that dark color. Here, what's amazing, the darker pigmentation in these tomatoes means higher antioxidant content. You're literally eating healthier when you choose varieties like this. Gardeners say black cherry is the tomato that made their kids start loving vegetables. That's the power of real flavor. If you've only got space for one cherry tomato variety, this is a strong contender. But keep listening because we've got even better coming up. At number 3, we have Cherokee Purple, and this is where we enter heirloom territory. Cherokee Purple is one of the most beloved heirloom tomatoes in existence, and once you taste it, you'll understand why. These are large beefsteak-style tomatoes with dusty rows and purple shoulders. They look like something from another planet. The flavor is deep, rich, and incredibly complex, sweet but balanced with a smoky, almost wine-like quality. It's the kind of tomato that makes you close your eyes when you bite into it. The texture is smooth and creamy, never mealy. This variety supposedly originated with the Cherokee people before the 1890s, passed down through generations because it was that special. Cherokee Purple plants are indeterminate and quite productive. Expect fruits in about 80 to 90 days after transplanting. Each tomato weighs anywhere from 8 to 12 ounces, sometimes even larger. These are substantial fruits. For seed starting, same warm, moist conditions. These seeds are vigorous and germinate reliably. Once they're growing, Cherokee Purple plants appreciate consistent watering and feeding. They'll reward you with fruit all season long. These tomatoes are absolute perfection for fresh eating. Slice them thick for sandwiches or burgers, and you'll never want a regular tomato again. They're also spectacular for caprese salad. The complex flavor holds up beautifully against fresh mozzarella and basil. One thing to note, like many heirlooms, Cherokee Purple can have some cracking if you get inconsistent watering, but that doesn't affect the flavor at all. Gardeners become obsessed with this variety. I know people who dedicate half their tomato garden to Cherokee Purple alone. The flavor is so superior to anything you'll ever find in a store that it almost feels unfair. This is what tomatoes tasted like before industrial agriculture took over. And we're only at number 3. Trust me, you need to hear about the top 2. Number 2 is Brandywine, specifically the pink Brandywine or Sudduth strain. This is the heirloom tomato that started the whole heirloom tomato movement. It's legendary. Brandywine produces massive, irregularly shaped pink fruits that can weigh over a pound each. The flavor is the definition of old-fashioned tomato perfection. Intensely sweet, perfectly acidic, rich, and complex with a silky texture. When people talk about tomatoes like Grandma used to grow, this is what they mean. It's the kind of tomato where you can eat it like an apple with just a sprinkle of salt, and it's the best thing you've had all week. Brandywine is indeterminate and does take its time. You're looking at about 90 to 100 days to maturity. But the wait is so worth it. Each plant produces huge fruits continuously once it starts. These plants grow large and vigorous, often reaching 7 to 9 feet tall. They need serious support. Start the seeds now using the same method. Brandywine germinates well and the seedlings are strong. Once they're established, these plants are relatively low maintenance. They just need space, support, and regular watering. The fruits are so large and meaty that one Brandywine tomato can be an entire meal. Use them for slicing, definitely. BLTs with Brandywine are transcendent, sandwiches, salads, or just eaten out of hand. They're also incredible for making fresh tomato sauce or salsa because the flavor is so concentrated. Here's the thing about Brandywine, it's not the heaviest producer on this list, but what it lacks in quantity it makes up for in pure quality. Gardeners literally plan their entire summer around Brandywine season. People take days off work when their Brandywines start ripening. This variety has won more taste tests and heirloom competitions than probably any other tomato. If you want the absolute essence of what a tomato should be, Brandywine delivers. But there's one variety that tops even this legend. Let's talk about number 1. Number 1, the absolute champion, is Sungold. I need you to understand something. Sungold is not just a tomato, it's a life-altering experience. This is a cherry tomato hybrid with bright orange gold fruits about an inch across. The flavor is explosively sweet, tropical, and fruity with perfect acidity. It tastes like tomato candy crossed with apricots and honey. I have never met a single person who didn't love Sungold, not one. People who hate tomatoes become Sungold addicts, kids beg for them, adults stand in the garden eating them by the handful. These tomatoes are so sweet they measure higher in sugar content than some fruits, but they're perfectly balanced, never cloying. Sungold plants are indeterminate and absolutely prolific. One plant produces hundreds of fruits. They're early too, usually around 55 to 65 days to maturity. You'll be harvesting while other tomatoes are still green. And they just keep coming. From early summer until frost, these plants are covered in clusters of golden orange perfection. Starting them from seed now is easy. Same warm, moist conditions and they germinate quickly and strongly. The plants grow vigorously and can reach 6 to 8 feet tall. Definitely stake or cage them well. Sungold has good disease resistance and handles a variety of growing conditions. They're remarkably adaptable. Here, what you need to know: you cannot keep Sungolds in your house. You'll eat them all before you make it inside. They're perfect fresh, obviously, but try roasting them with olive oil and garlic, or throw them in pasta at the last second. They're incredible in salads, as a snack, as a garnish, or just standing in the garden practicing self-care. Gardeners say Sungold is the tomato that made them become gardeners. It's that transformative. There are people who grow entire tomato gardens just to support their Sungold habit. I'm not exaggerating. This variety has won People's Choice Awards in taste tests year after year after year. Once you've had a sun-warmed Sungold straight off the vine, every other cherry tomato becomes a disappointment. This is why it's number 1. This is the variety you absolutely must grow. So there you have it. Your 5 life-changing tomato varieties: San Marzano for sauce perfection, Black Cherry for complex sweetness, Cherokee Purple for heirloom magic, Brandywine for old-fashioned excellence, and Sungold for pure joy. Start these seeds now in January, and by summer you'll have tomatoes so good that grocery stores will feel like a sad joke. I want to know which variety you're starting first. Drop it in the comments right now. And if you're excited to grow real food and never settle for store-bought again, hit that like button and subscribe for daily plant content that'll keep you inspired all season long. Trust me, you're about to understand what tomatoes are supposed to taste like. Now go start some seeds. Your future self will thank you.